Welcome to Galactic Tales YT, where the world of science fiction comes to life through powerful stories, emotional journeys, and breathtaking adventures across the stars. Alien girl begged for water. They tried to cut her arm until a human stepped in. It started with silence, no warning. No sound, no movement in the sky. Then, one by one, the stars disappeared. People looked up, confused. Why were the stars fading? In the cold night sky above Earth, something massive had arrived, blocking out the light. Not a storm, not a satellite. It was a fleet, black, smooth, quiet, like death itself. And then, the silence ended. Boom. The sky caught fire. A beam of red light tore through the clouds and hit Tokyo. In less than 3 seconds, it was gone. A flash of white, a ring of smoke. Millions erased. People screamed. Some ran. Some dropped to their knees and prayed. Others pulled out their phones, still thinking it was fake. It wasn't. They came without warning. They came without mercy. They were Valari, and they didn't come to conquer. They came to erase. In an old military base beneath what was once northern Alaska, a man stood alone, watching the chaos on cracked monitors. Captain Ryder, scar on his cheek, burn on his neck, one eye slightly damaged, repaired by old Earth tech. A survivor, a soldier. And now, the last hope. He watched. City after city vanish. London, New York, Cairo, Delhi, gone. Whisper escaped his lips. We should have seen it coming, but they hadn't, because the Valari weren't loud like other enemies. They didn't speak in threats. They didn't announce war, they just came and took on elsewhere. The Valari High Council broadcasted their message. Humans are primitive, unfit for galactic existence. Their species will serve us, or be destroyed. Across space, other alien empires watched. Some laughed. Some stayed silent. No one helped. No one ever helped humans. But what they didn't understand, humans didn't break easy. The next day, Ryder met with a small group of survivors, engineers, a school teacher, a hacker kid, a nurse, a pilot missing one arm. That was all that was left in the outpost. Someone asked, "Captain, is this the end of us?" Ryder didn't answer immediately. He looked at the stars through the cracked roof above. He saw the fleet still floating like dark giants. He saw the Earth, bleeding, then he smiled. But it wasn't a kind smile, it was a human smile, hard, angry, unforgiving. "No," he said. "This is the beginning of their end." 3 months later, whispers spread across the galaxy. A Valari ship exploded in a mining colony. A slave camp lost all its guards in one night. A rebel symbol painted on every wall. A broken star with a single word in English. Remember, the legend was growing. The human ghost. The last captain. The one-eyed devil. His name was Ryder, and he was building something, not an army, not a fleet. He was building a reason for humanity to rise again. In the ruins of old Earth, deep below the ash and dust, hidden labs were coming back online. AI systems whispered to each other. Weapons slept, waiting for the right command. And one day, that command would come. As for the Valari, they celebrated early. They thought the war was over. But they didn't understand. You don't invade Earth and expect peace. You don't cage humans and expect silence. You don't mess with humans and survive. Escape from the pit wasn't a prison. It was a slow death. Every day in the Valari mining pit, humans broke rocks under a red alien sun. No protection, no brakes, no water unless you begged. And even then, you might not get it. If someone collapsed, they were dragged away and never seen again. They called it Pit 12. The guards called it the crawler's mouth. Because once you entered, you never came out. But today, something was different. Today, one of the humans looked back. Dax, a teenage boy with grease-stained hands, noticed it first. The guard towers, silent. The patrols, one short. The energy gates, they flickered for a second. And then he saw him, a tall man with a beard and a metal brace on his left leg. Covered in dirt like the rest of them. But his eyes didn't match the others. His eyes were awake. "Is it really him?" Dax whispered. No one answered. But everyone knew the name. Ryder, the ghost. The man who never died. Deep inside the sleeping quarters, under the floorboards of a rusted storage room, Ryder met with 2 others. Juno, the teen engineer. Sergeant Malik, ex-Earth Marines, now missing 2 fingers. Ryder laid out a rough map, drawn in coal and spit on a scrap of old plastic. 3 minutes, Ryder whispered. That's how long we'll have after the lights go down. You really think the codes will work? Malik asked. Juno nodded. The Valari stole our tech. I stole it back. Ryder's eyes scanned them both. He didn't smile. He never smiled anymore. We're not fighting for freedom today, he said. We're fighting to remind them. We're still here, nightfall. The guards relaxed. The sky turned purple. The pit slept. Then the lights died. First one tower. Then another. Then the alarms. Then the screams. A shockwave blasted through the pit's gate as a hidden charge exploded. Ryder and Malik came out of the smoke like ghosts. Weapons stolen from the armory. For the first time in months, the prisoners ran toward the guards, not away from them. A rebellion had begun. Dax sprinted through the chaos. Carrying a small device given by Juno, stick it to the tower, she had told him. Top floor? You'll know when. He climbed, dodging fire, slipping on blood, screaming past alien corpses. He reached the top, slapped the device on the control core. Boom! The gate burst wide open. For the first time ever, the humans of Pit 12 saw the sky without bars. Ryder stood at the edge of the pit, wounded but still standing. Smoke behind him. Freedom ahead. Valari reinforcements landed fast, too fast. One of the new officers barked in their harsh language. Surrender or be disintegrated. Ryder stepped forward, face bloody. Clothes burned. He spat on the ground. You messed with the wrong species. Then he raised his rifle. The battle was brutal. Many died. But enough survived, and when it ended, a stolen Valari shuttle launched from the surface of Draven 4. Inside it, 23 human survivors sat in silence, eyes wide, hearts pounding. Captain Ryder stood at the front, gripping the controls. This is just the start, he said. We're not running anymore. We're fighting. Juno turned from the enemy's daughter. She was supposed to die. That's what the report said. Enemy escape pod, no life signs. Likely destroyed on impact. But Captain Ryder didn't believe in luck, not after watching Earth burn. So when his ship picked up a weak distress signal near the edge of the Ilarian wreck field, he didn't ignore it. He followed it, through broken asteroids, shattered ships, and radioactive clouds left behind from a long-forgotten battle. He found it, a small cracked Valari escape pod, half buried inside a dead cruiser. And inside, a girl, not just any girl. She wore royal armor, blood red, lined with silver. Her skin was smooth and dark violet, shimmering faintly. Her face was bruised, her lips split. One arm broken, but even unconscious, she looked powerful and dangerous. Ryder stared through the cracked pod glass for a long time. What the hell is a Valari noble doing out here? He didn't have the answer, but something in his gut told him. This wasn't just a survivor. This was a key. Back on his ship, the Wraith, Juno panicked. You brought her on board? Are you insane? That's a Valari. She's not a soldier, Ryder replied. She's the reason soldiers exist. Malik barked. Look at her crest. House Velthar. That's high command. That's the family who signed Earth's death order. Ryder said nothing. He just watched her as she lay on the medbed, her breathing shallow, her body weak. Then maybe it's time they understand what it feels like. To be powerless. When she woke up, she didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just stared at Ryder with those cold, violet eyes and asked, "Why didn't you kill me?" Ryder crossed his arms. I thought about it. A long silence. Then she spoke again. You're human. I am. You're supposed to be extinct. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Yeah? We're full of surprises. Her name was Kalis, Lady Kalis Velthar, daughter of the Valari Supreme Strategist, raised in crystal towers, trained by war masters, fed lies about humanity from birth. She was everything Ryder should have hated, but over the next 3 days, he learned something. She was also broken, not in body. In spirit. My own brother sabotaged my pod, she admitted. He wants the throne. He wants me dead, Ryder watched her carefully. Looking for the trap, so what? You want revenge? No, she said, her voice sharp like ice. "I want the Empire to burn." Juno didn't trust her. Malik wanted her spaced, but Ryder. He saw something else, a weapon the Valari had made, now pointed back at them, not a spy. Not a soldier. Not anymore. Kalis had secrets, and one of them changed everything. "They're building something," she whispered. "A superweapon. Not like your nukes. Worse. It's called the Crown of Fire, and it's almost ready." Ryder went still. "What does it do?" Her answer chilled the room. "It burns planets. From orbit." In one shot, Ryder's fists clenched. "And they plan to use it on the colonies?" Kalis nodded once. "They plan to erase the resistance before it begins." As the Wraith moved silently through the stars, the crew sat in a dim war room, watching the hologram projection Kalis had drawn by hand. Plans, code, the broken crown. Some secrets don't stay buried, not even in space. Captain Ryder stared at the broken datapad lying on the table before him. The screen glitched, buzzing with static, but the last word still flashed in red. Crown of Fire, weapon core location, Velos Prime. Behind him, Kalis stood silently, arms crossed, face pale. Ryder turned slowly. "You're telling me your people built a weapon that can crack a planet open like an egg, and they hid it under a luxury capital world?" Kalis met his gaze. No one would ever look there. "That's the point." Flashback 5 years earlier. A banquet hall. Marble floors. Gold fountains of liquid light. The noble families of the Valari Empire dancing in silence. Faces like stone, pride in their blood. And in the center, a younger Kalis, wearing royal armor, crowned with silver fire, smiling, not because she was happy, but because it was expected. In the shadows, her brother, Lord Varnus, whispered into a diplomat's ear. "One day, she'll wear the crown of fire. One day, the galaxy will burn at her command." He lied. He never planned to share anything with her. Not the throne. Not the power. Not the weapon. Present day. Ryder punched the metal wall of the ship corridor. "Hard enough to leave a dent. We don't have time." "For palace games," he snapped. Kalis didn't flinch. "This isn't a game. You kept this from me. Because I knew you'd react like..." This silence stretched between them, tense, heated. Then she stepped closer. "I didn't choose to be born Valari, but I can choose what I do with it now." Ryder looked away. He didn't trust her, but he needed her. Meanwhile, on Velos Prime, Lord Varnus watched a large hologram of the Wraith ship. "Zoomed in from orbit. She's alive," he said coldly. "And she's with him." "Who, my lord?" asked his advisor. "The ghost, the human captain." His voice dropped to a growl. "Send the Flameborn. I want her dead. I want him broken." Back aboard, the Wraith Malik entered the bridge, his face tight. "We've intercepted a message. High-priority Valari encryption. Took Juno hours to crack it." He handed Ryder the datapad. "They're sending a kill squad." Ryder read the message aloud. "Target, Kalis Velthar. Status, traitor. Secondary target, human captain. Eliminate both before contact with rebel forces." He looked up. Kalis looked tired. For once, not regal. Not proud, just tired. "Looks like your family reunion's been cancelled," Ryder said darkly. She gave a dry smile. They always did hate surprises. The plan Velos Prime was too well protected. They couldn't attack it head-on, but the Crown of Fire wasn't complete yet. It still needed a core crystal found only on the moons of Varnox 9. If they could destroy the crystal cache, they'd delay the weapon's activation and draw attention away from their real the trap at Zeta Prime. He trusted the wrong person. Captain Ryder lay on the cold floor of the shuttle, his side bleeding, his vision blurred. Everything had gone wrong. The ambush. The fake signal. The friend who wasn't a friend. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he whispered. In the distance, alarms blared across Zeta Prime, a hidden Valari weapons facility built inside an asteroid. But now, it had become a cage, and Ryder was the bait. 12 hours earlier, the Wraith received a coded message, a rebel cell on Zeta. Prime claimed to have vital information, the Crown of Fire's control codes, the key to shutting it down. Too good to ignore. Too dangerous to trust, but Ryder made the call. "We check it out. Quiet. Fast. No risks." Famous last words. Zeta Prime was cold and hollow. A maze of metal tunnels. Silent. Empty. Too empty. Juno stayed in orbit to monitor the signal. Malik, Ryder, and Kalis moved through the tunnels. "Something's wrong," Kalis whispered. "I feel it too," Malik replied. Ryder didn't say anything. He just gripped his rifle tighter. That's when the doors slammed shut behind them, and the lights turned. Red dot trap detected. Lockdown active. Extraction blocked. Kalis spun around. They were waiting for us, and then came the voice. Familiar. Cold. "Hello, sister." A hologram flickered to life in front of them. Lord Varnus. Kalis's brother. Heir to the Valari throne. The true mind behind the crown of fire. "Did you really think I wouldn't see this coming?" Ryder raised his weapon. "Pointless. It was a hologram." "You sent that fake signal," he growled. Varnus smiled. "Of course. And thank you for walking into my trap. Now I don't just have one traitor. I have two." He turned his gaze to Ryder, the human ghost. "The famous captain." "You've been very busy." "We're just getting started," Ryder snapped. Varnus ignored him. "Do you know what the crown of fire was really made for?" "It wasn't just a weapon. It's a message. To your kind. To every species too weak to defend their water. Their land, their sky." He leaned forward. "Obey or burn." The hologram vanished, and the floor exploded. The next 5 minutes were chaos, blinding. Lights, gunfire, explosions. Valari shock troops poured into the corridors. Elite units. No warnings. No mercy. Malik was shot in the leg. Ryder dragged him behind cover, his shoulder burning from a blast. Kalis grabbed 2 enemy rifles and fired like a storm. Her royal training finally unleashed. "We can't win this fight," she shouted. "We have to run! How?" "The exit's sealed," Malik groaned. Juno's voice crackled through comms. "I found another way out, but it's risky." "We like risky," Ryder replied. They moved fast, bleeding, stumbling through side tunnels, fire behind them. But right before they reached the shuttle, a shadow stepped into their path. Not a soldier, a human. Jonas. Ryder froze. Jonas Vale, former Earth Forces. Ryder's old friend, one of the first rebels. One of the last survivors of Titan Base. "You're supposed to be dead," Ryder said. Jonas smiled. "Empty. I was. Until the Valari gave me a reason to live." He raised his weapon. Betrayal burned hotter than any blaster. "I'm sorry, Ryder," Jonas said. "But you lost." "And I don't follow losers." He pulled the rage of the forgotten. "They thought we were done, broken, scattered, silent. But they forgot one thing. You don't leave humans alive and expect peace. Not after Earth. Not after the pits. Not after Zeta Prime." And now Captain Ryder, bloodied, betrayed, barely breathing, was heading back to the heart of the enemy. To finish it. The mood aboard the Wraith was quiet. Not the calm before the storm kind. The funeral kind. Ryder sat at the war table, his arm in a sling, jaw clenched. Juno was silent at her station. Kalis stood at the viewport, watching the stars blur past as they approached Velos Prime. Even Malik, usually full of sarcasm, stared at the floor. Too many losses, too many names forgotten, too much blood. Kalis finally spoke. "Velos Prime will be a fortress." Ryder didn't look up. "Good. We'll be outnumbered." "Perfect." "You're still injured." He stood. Slowly. Painfully. "Then I'll hit harder." Flashback. Earth. Years ago. A hospital bunker. Ryder stands over a burned-out soldier, barely recognizable. The man opens one eye. "They got the capital." "I know." "Did we lose?" Ryder places a hand on his shoulder. "Not yet. Back to present." Ryder walked into the ship's armory, picked up his old Earth Forces armor, scuffed, cracked, blackened, a symbol still burned on the shoulder, EFS. "Earth Forces survive. They took our planet," he whispered. "Now we take their crown." The plan was simple. Infiltrate the palace tower on Velos Prime. Reach the Crown of Fire control room. Upload Kalis's override codes. Shut it down from the inside. Or destroy it. But simple plans don't survive long in war. Hours later, Velos Prime orbit. The Wraith descended in the shadow of a merchant vessel. Ryder's team wore stolen Valari officer gear. Kalis disguised her face beneath a golden mask, a symbol of royal authority. Guards barely looked at them as they passed. The uniform still mattered more than truth, but the deeper they went, the colder it got. The palace was beautiful. Crystal floors, floating torches, tall windows looking down on the city. It was also filled with ghosts. Statues of rulers, paintings of conquests, none of Earth, none of the burned worlds, just lies. They rewrite history, Juno whispered, to erase us. Then let's give them something they can't forget, Ryder replied. The throne room Lord Varnus sat like a viper in gold armor, fingers laced. Welcome, dear sister, he said. Kalis pulled off her mask. Your lies end tonight. No, Kalis, he smiled coldly. Tonight, your guilt ends. He pressed a button. Alarms screamed. Guards flooded the hall. Doors slammed shut. But Ryder was already moving. Boom! The flash grenade blinded them just long enough. Juno hacked the doors. Malik tossed an energy shield. You messed with humans? Bad move. It should have been over. The crown of fire was shut down. Lord Varnus was dead. The rebellion had hope, but Captain Ryder knew better. Empires don't fall in silence, he said. They scream, they claw. They burn everything on the way down, and Velos Prime was burning. Opening hook, Valari warships blocked the sky. The city trembled as emergency sirens howled through the towers. Kalis looked out the palace window. Her armor covered in ash and blood. They're not surrendering, she said, behind her. Ryder limped forward, wrapping a bandage over his ribs. Of course not. They're Valari, so what do we do? He looked at her, eyes cold. We finish what they started. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. The crown of fire is disabled. Lord Varnus is dead. The humans have returned. Colonies once too afraid to speak now raised their voices. The forgotten rebel cells lit up with coded messages. Ryder lives. Kalis turned. Now's the time. It wasn't just Earth anymore. It was everyone they hurt. The coalition fleet entered orbit. 3 battle cruisers. Hundreds of fighters. The message was clear. Velos Prime, stand down or we stand you down. Inside the throne room, Kalis sent one last transmission to the Valari High Council. Your rule is over. The galaxy won't bow anymore. They cut the feed. Their answer came quickly. A final strike team was inbound, not soldiers. Not assassins, but something older. The Elders, the original architects of Valari power. Alien minds with no emotion. Only control. They didn't come to fight. They came to reset everything. Final showdown. The Elders entered the crown chamber without fear. Kalis and Ryder stood waiting. Side by side, Juno watched from the command deck. Fingers dancing across control panels, Malik aimed the last functioning cannon at the chamber's gate. The air crackled. One Elder stepped forward. You are chaos. Ryder smirked. You're damn right. The Elder raised a hand, and time seemed to freeze. A telepathic wave hit them like thunder, but Kalis stepped forward and sang, not with words. With memory, the old Hesperian tongue, the forgotten cry of her ancestors, a sound that echoed through the crown's ancient tech, activating something deep. Beneath their feet, the floor opened to reveal the true heart of the crown, not a weapon, a beacon, built long before the Valari ever discovered it. Reveal. The crown wasn't made by Valari hands, it was stolen by activating the beacon. Kalis awoke a hidden protocol across the galaxy. Similar ancient systems lit up. The message was clear. This is not your empire. It never was. Everything changed. The Elders collapsed under the weight of their stolen power. Valari. Warships lost connection to the control grid. Rebel fleets punched through their defenses. In the throne room, silence. Kalis stood at the center of the beacon's glow. Her armor cracked. Her voice hoarse. Ryder stepped beside her. You okay? She nodded. Just once. You were right. This wasn't about war. He tilted his head. Then what was it about? She looked at him, eyes shining. A beginning. Epilogue. 1 week later. Earth. Sky rebuilding. Cities slowly breathing again. Kayla stood on a beach for the first time, real water lapping at her boots. She stared at the endless ocean. It's so big. Yeah, Ryder said. Told you I'd show it to you. She turned to him. So, what now? He shrugged. We make the future. Final scene, Galactic Council, reformed. Kalis, now a diplomat. Juno, leading tech recovery teams. Malik training new peacekeepers. And Ryder, still wearing his patched-up armor. Still walking into danger. But never alone. If you enjoyed this video, like this video, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon to stay updated with fresh content every day.